We continue now at the top of Daf Nun Aleph Amud Aleph and Meseches Nedarim. This is Nedarim Daf 51a. The Gemara is continuing to discuss what happened between Rebbe and Bar Kapara at the wedding of Rebbe Shimon, who was the son of Rebbe. And Rebbe told Bar Kapara that he didn't want Bar Kapara to make him laugh, because every time Rebbe would laugh, bad things would happen to the world. And he said to Bar Kapara, if you don't make me laugh, so I'm going to give you 40 saw of wheat. And so Bar Kapara responded, "D'chol griva d'ba'ina shakilna." Any amount that I want to take, whatever measurement I want to take, that's what I'm going to take. And Bar Kapara did as follows: Shakal di kula rabba. He took a large basket, chafia kufra, and then he coated it with pitch in order that no wheat should drop out of it. V'sachve al reishi, and he turned it upside down. V'yazal v'yamarle, and then he went and he said to Rebbe, "Leicholi mara arboyin grive chite derashina bach." The master should give me the 40 saw of wheat that you promised that you would give me. And the idea over here was that he said this in a humorous fashion because he had turned it upside down. So Achach Rebbe, so Rebbe laughed. Amar Leni said to him, Lavas hartich, didn't I warn you? The lo savadchan, that you shouldn't make me laugh. Amar Le, so he said to him, Chiti derashina kanasivna, I'm coming to collect the wheat which I am owed. And there are some who explain that Bar Kapara didn't simply turn the palm basket upside down, but that he turned it upside down and he put it on top of his head. And the Gemara continues, Amar le Bar Kapara liverate de Rebbe. Bar Kapara said to the daughter of Rebbe, Lemachar shasina chamra, tomorrow I'm going to drink wine, berikuda diavach, at the dancing of your father, uvir kerkani diimach, and at the singing of your mother. They're going to dance and they're going to sing at this wedding. And the Gemara continues, Ben Elasa chasane de Rebbe have. Ben Elasa, he was the son-in-law of Rebbe, va'asher gadol have, and he was very wealthy. So Azmane levehilula de Rebbe Shimon beRebbe, so he invited him to the wedding of Rebbe Shimon beRebbe. Amar le Bar Kapara l'Rebbe, so at the wedding Bar Kapara said to Rebbe, Mai toeva, what does the pasuk mean when it says toeva by Mishkav Zocher? Called Amar le Rebbe dehachinu toeva parcha Bar Kapara. Everything that Rebbe said, this is what toeva means, so Bar Kapara refuted it. Amar le, so he said to him, Rebbe said to Bar Kapara, Parshayat, you explain what toeva means. Amar le, so Bar Kapara said to him, Teisi devischi tirmili, your wife should come, pour me some wine. Natla asas ramule, she took the wine, she came, she poured it for him. Amar le Rebbe, and Bar Kapara said to Rebbe, Kum rekodli, get up and dance in front of me, de'emor lach, and then I'll tell you what the word means. And so he danced in front of him, and he said to him, Hachi Amar Achmana, this is what the Torah means. Toeva, what is Toeva? Toa ataba, you're straying after it, again referring to Mishkav Zocher. Lakasa Achrina, for after another cup of wine, Amar le, so then Bar Kapar said to Rebbe, Mai Tevel. What does the pasuk mean when it says Tevel? Tevel is talking about a situation of Mishkav Behema, of being with an animal. Amar le Kinyana Kadma, again they had the same kind of conversation. Everything Rebbe said was refuted by Bar Kapara. Amar le, and Bar Kapara said to Rebbe, Ivid li de Omer lach, perform for me the same way that you did before, and then I'll tell you. Avad, so he performed for him. Amar le, and Bar Kapara said to him, Tevel, what is Tevel? Who? What is Tevel? It's Tavlin Yeshba. Is there some kind of spice in this act of relations with an animal? Mishan Yehada Bia min Kulon Bios. Is this kind of act of relations different than other kinds? Meaning, again, why are you involving yourself in this? And the Gemara continues, Amar le, he said to him, Umay Zima. Bar Kapara said to Rebbe, what does the word Zima mean? Amar le, and Bar Kapara said to him, Ivid ki in Yona Kadma, perform like before. Avad, and again he performed. V'amar le, and he said to him, Zu mahi, what is this? That's referring to the paternity of the child. Zima is referring to a situation where a woman is with many different men, and so the word Zima refers to the fact that the child from this woman, we're not going to know the paternity of that child. And the Gemara continues, Lo yachil ben Elasa lemisbal, ben Elasa couldn't bear to watch Rebbe be humiliated in this fashion. Kam v'nafak hu v'intase mitamon, and he and his wife got up and they left from there. And the Gemara continues, My ben Elasa, what is ben Elasa? And the Mefarish explains, My ben Elasa kolomar minayin dehave asher, meaning from where do we know that he was wealthy? And the Gemara says, the Tanya, as we learned in a Braisa, Lo lechinam pizer ben Elasa esmaosav. It wasn't for no reason that ben Elasa spent his money. Ela laharos ben tispora shel kohen gadol. Rather, he wanted to show what the haircut of the kohen gadol was like. T'chsiv, like the pasuk says, kasom yiksamu es rasheim. It says that they need to trim the hair of their heads. So Tana was taught kein lulinis. It says that their haircut was like lulinis. My lulinis, what is a lulinis kind of haircut? Amar Reb Yehuda says, Tisparta yechidita, it's a special kind of haircut. Hechi dami, how does it work? Amar Rava says, Rosho shel zeh, b'tzadi karo shel zeh. The end of one hair touches by the root of the next hair. V'hainu tisbora shel kohen gadol, and that is the haircut of the kohen gadol. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, "Uvidalas or ramutza." If a person takes a neder from cooked items, so it's permitted for him to have the ramutza gourd. My dalas or ramutza. What is this ramutza gourd? Amar Shmuel. Shmuel says, "Kara karkuzoi." It's a karkuzoi gourd. Rav Ashi says, "Dalas hatamuna beremetz." It refers to a gourd that it's insulated in remetz. Remetz is like the embers, the hot flames from the coal. Eisvei Ravina le Rav Ashi. So Ravina asked Rav Ashi the following question. Rabbi Nechemia Omer, it says that Rabbi Nechemia says, Dalas Aram is he Dalas HaMitzris. The Aramean gourd is the same thing as the Egyptian gourd. And Kilayim im HaYavanis. If you put that together with the Greek gourd, that's considered Kilayim. And Kilayim im HaRamutza. It's also considered Kilayim with the Ramutza gourd. And that indicates that Ramutza isn't a way of preparing the Dalas, but it's a different kind of species of Dalas. And the Gemara says, indeed, to Yufta, that is a refutation of what we said above, that it is simply Tamuna Baremetz. It's referring to a way that it's prepared. Rather, it is referring to a specific species of gourd. And the Mefarish explains, Haramutza kra karkuzai. It says the Ramutza gourd is the karkuzai gourd. The luin shall also makam. The Mefarish says that refers to gourds of a particular place that was called karkuzai. She'enon misbashlin liolam yafa. They don't ripen properly at any point in time. Hatzmuna baremetz, again, it is something that's insulated in these embers. Afar shal gecholim delav tavshilhu. It's not a tavshil, but rather it's insulated in these embers from the coals. Kilayim im dalas haramutza. It said it's kilayim with the dalas haramutza. Alma da haramutza lav tamuna baremetz. You see that ramutza doesn't mean how it's insulated and prepared. Elashem makom hu min zeraim hu. Rather, it's the name of a location and it's a specific species of gourd. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Hanoder mi ma'isa kadeir. If a person takes a neder not to benefit from ma'isa kadeir, which is things made in a pot, ein aser elo mi ma'isa resachta. It's only aser for him to have ma'isa resachta. The Mefarish says, mi ma'isa resachta hainu davar shenigmar bishula b'kadeir. What that means is we're referring specifically to items that their cooking is finished in a pot. Ve'eno elo mechameshes hamin, and it comes from the five species. La'afuke davar she'ein gemar bishula b'kadeira ad shemevashlan oso be'ilfas. That comes to exclude something which you don't finish cooking it in the pot. Rather, you finish cooking it in the frying pan. Again, in this case, if it's ma'isa kadeira, it has to be something that is finished off in the pot. And the Mishnah continues, Amar konim hayored l'kadeira. If the language is a konim from anything that goes down into the pot, sha'ani tom, that I'm not going to taste it, asr b'chol hanasa b'kadeira. So in that case, it's going to be asr with anything that is made in a pot. And the Mefarish says, b'chol hanasa b'kadeira, afilu mevushal bi'ilfas. Even if it went into a pot, and then it went into a frying pan, asr, it is still going to be prohibited. And the Gemara says, Tanya, we learned in a Braisa, Hanoder min hayorid l'kadeir. If someone takes a neder from that which goes down into the pot, Aser biyorid li'ilfis, so he's aser to have anything that is put into the frying pan. Shekvar yorid l'kadeira kodim sheyorid li'ilfis, because the way they would cook things was first they would put it in the pot, then they would put it in the frying pan. So you know if it was in the frying pan, it must have been in the pot before that, and therefore that's considered yorid l'kadeira, and it is aser. Min hayorid li'ilfis. Now let's say he says that which goes into the frying pan, that's prohibited to me. So mutter biyorid l'kadeira. So then if it was yorid l'kadeira, but it didn't yet reach the stage where it went to the ilfis, it didn't yet get into the frying pan, so then it is going to be mutter. And the Braisa continues, min hanasa b'kadeira. Let's say he takes a neder from that which is made in the kadeira. That means it has to be made in its entirety in the kadeira. So mutter b'nasa b'ilfis. So he's mutter if it was made in a frying pan. It wasn't made in its entirety in the kadeira. And the same the other way, min hanasa b'ilfis. If he says he's not going to have that which was made in the frying pan, mutter b'nasa b'kadeira. So then if it was made in the kadeira, it wasn't made entirely in the frying pan, so it is going to be mutter. The Mefarish explains, B'yord be'ilfis shekvar hoel v'kodim shemanichu be'ilfis mevashlu b'kadeira. Again, before they put things in the frying pan, they always put it in the pot. V'hadr manichu be'ilfis. Only after that they put it in the frying pan. Kein hayim and hagan. That's just the way they cooked. V'aviyord l'kadeira l'fikach aser. Therefore, again, if it was in the frying pan, you know it was in the kadeira. It's aser. But the other way around, min hayord be'ilfis mutter b'yord l'kadeira kodim sheyord l'ilfis. If he says he's not going to have something in the frying pan and it only was in the pot, it didn't yet get into the frying pan, it's going to be mutter. Min hanasa b'kadeira. Nasa b'kadeira means legamri kol bishulo. Everything has to be done in the pot when you say nasa b'kadeira. She'eno yored le'ilfis klal. It can't go into the frying pan at all. If it goes in the frying pan, then it's going to be mutter. Again, mutter b'nasa b'ilfis. It's mutter if it's in the frying pan. Afal pisha yakorim l'chein b'kadeira. Even though earlier than that it was in the pot, but again it has to be fully made in the pot in its entirety. Otherwise, it is mutter. And the Brisa continues, Hanoder min hayorid l'tanor. If someone takes a neder from that which is in the oven, ein aser ela b'pas. The only prohibition is with bread. V'imamar kol ma'aseh tanor alai. But if he says anything that has to do with the oven is upon me, so aser b'chol hanasim b'tanor, then anything that is prepared in the oven is going to be prohibited. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Nun Aleph Amud Beis.